Hi everyone. Alright, today we've got a class on recycling, but really it's on the difference between recycling, trash, and green waste. So let's get started. So I printed this off. It's from Waste Management, and it's a trash and recycling guide to a reduce, reuse, recycling resource. When I was going to college, I went to Humboldt State, very progressive college, and a lot of people were going there mainly for environmental degrees. So reduce, reuse, recycle was kind of the environmentalists' trinity, holy trinity. Not really holy, but it does start with reduce. So a lot of people think, I do recycling, I've done my job, but what we need to do first is reduce. And reducing is really just not overbuying or over consuming. A lot of times people buy things that are not really anything they need, and it gets thrown out, and then it ends up in a landfill. So if you can reduce as much as possible, and really, make sure you know exactly what you need, is the best thing for the earth. It's the best thing for the environment. I mean, we tend to overuse and overuse and overuse, and we're not reducing, we're producing. We're producers. And so, if you can reduce as much as possible to take care of your environmental footprint, which, I'll go over later. I'll give you a quiz, which I took when I went to San Francisco State, on what your environmental footprint is. Depending. I thought at the time that I would do really well on that, but I didn't, because I was taking public transportation everywhere. I didn't really use my car, so I thought I was doing great for the environment, and I found out my footprint was still pretty big. The next one is to reuse. And this is an important one because it's actually really easy. Instead of buying fast food, making a sandwich and putting it in a container from home, and reusing that container and washing it out is very important. I don't know how many people can raise their hand and say that they do that. Another way is for like water bottles and things like that. I see a lot of the times people will have a plastic water bottle. When easily, they're not that expensive. I'm sure Program would provide one for you. But, taking it with you, and we have water gallons all over the place at Program, and you can refill anytime and reuse your water bottle, quite a bit. As long as you're just putting water in it and you shouldn't be sharing it with anybody, then, it's really beneficial to the environment. Because a lot of those things, again, they ended up in landfills. Sometimes they end up in the ocean. And, it's just better to be conscious of what you can do, and it's healthier. And instead of going, and it saves you money in some ways. Say you go to McDonald's, right? And instead of getting the full meal, which will cost over sometimes up to $15, and you bring in your own water bottle, you say, yeah, I don't really need fries. I'm going to just get a burger. I've got my water bottle. It's going to save a lot of money. It'll cut your costs in half. And you're also reusing things and helping the environment. And it's an important thing. It's a really important thing. And the last one is recycling. And why is this? The reason this is because recycling, in order to recycle everything that we do, like when we do recycling, which is good. I mean, I'm not saying don't recycle. Pardon me. Should have had that soda. Whew. Anyway, I apologize. But recycling centers, in order to produce everything that they do, it uses up a lot of energy. And actually, they're one of the bigger polluters, as in companies, than other places. I mean, we need recycling. It is good to recycle. I'm not saying it's not. But if you do the first two, reduce, reuse, and use the recycling center as little as possible, and not just go there to make money, but go there, to make money and recycle for things that people, kind of, because we go to the YMCA and people are constantly just throwing their bottles out. We go other places and see. We go to the park and we see how much recycling that people just throw out that it's actually recyclable, which is important why we go over what is and what isn't recyclable, because we do have that class. But again, recycling is the last thing, like you as an individual when you're at home, that you want to be doing. First, reduce, not produce. Second, reuse. Buy water bottles, get a water bottle, take it with you, stay hydrated. It's healthy for you. And then, recycle. All right, so let's go over the next part. So how to use this guide. Well, it says the City of Carlsbad and Waste Management want to make it easy for residents to get rid of their waste in a way that helps protect the environment. This guide is intended to provide residents with important information on waste and recycling services and other recycling and diversion programs available pretty much everywhere. So there are different size garbage cans, if you can see there. So you got the smallest one, medium, and big. And that all depends on the house you live in. The small one's about 35 gallons, the medium 64 gallons, and the large one is 96 gallons. And the important thing about this is, where we live, they charge you different prices. The bigger it is, the more expensive it is. So if you really don't need the biggest one, I would go ahead and change, and you can just say, hey, I would like to switch over to the medium-sized one, and it'll take some money off of your bill. Melanie and I, we use the smallest one, but we're only a two-person household. We don't really, produce that much waste. But, when I was growing up as a kid, I remember, because I grew up in a very big family, and my job was to take the trash out on trash day. But that was back when they had the metal bins, and I think we used to take out like 3 or 4 full of waste and garbage. And they didn't have recycling back then. Recycling didn't happen until after I moved away from Utah. And my family still isn't very good at it because I don't think they ever got used to the idea. But, I mean, again, recycling is good. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just, it pollutes. In order for the machines to run, it's going to pollute. But again, depending on how much trash, so right here it looks like the small one. The smallest one, that's for like 2 bags of garbage per week. The medium one is, 3 bags of garbage per week. And the large one looks like 5 bags per week. So, maybe take inventory of how many typically, over the next couple of weeks, take an inventory of how many bags of trash you have. And if you have the big one, you can just say, hey, I don't need this big a one. I'm going to go down to 1 because we only use 3, maybe even 2. And, depending on your household size, it's important. Cart service with an automated collection program. The monthly rate you pay for collection is based on the trash container size, which is, we've already kind of gone over that. By following the tips on reducing waste and taking advantage of the available recycling and diversion programs, residents can significantly reduce the amount of waste produced. Standard residential service consists of 1 trash, 1 recycling, and 1 green waste cart per household. So, again, depending on the household. Again, if you got a lot of family living there, you're going to have a bigger load there. Which is fine. Like I said, my family, we produce a lot of trash. To make it convenient To recycle more and reduce waste, residents are allowed up to 3 recycling carts. Oh, I didn't know that. And 3 green waste carts at no extra charge. But again, this is, but you can always call Waste Management at 760-929-9400. I'll let you see that. There's the number there. All right. This is going to be a 3-part class because there's actually a lot of. I don't want to overly bore you. Okay, well that page is pretty much done. But you can always call Waste Management, ask them, what is the best thing for the environment? What is the best way for me and my family so we can save as much money? But really, then the onus is going to come back onto you, and they're going to say, well, take inventory of how much you used, and then we can go from there. But here are the cart guidelines. So let's see. So what you want to do, so it says, please follow these guidelines for waste and recycling collection. So you want to separate trash, recycling, and green waste and place into the appropriate cart. All material must fit into the cart with the lid closed. And this is kind of true. If it's overflowing, they're not going to pick it up. They'll just pass you right by. And it's easier for them. And again, we got to remember the colors. So green waste is pretty easy. It's a green bin. Recycling is an easy one. It's a blue bin. And trash is the brown bin. You want to have your cart to the line by 6 a.m. on your collection day and place it with the handle facing away from the street. So you don't want to turn the wrong way to where they might grab the handle and bust it off. Carts must be off city streets by midnight on your service day. And that's there. I think it's, well, I can almost guess. It's probably because if your cart isn't gone, or your cart, then what happens is that they might do a double run, and you might get double charged, So make sure you get it out of there on your service day. So my day's Monday. What I usually do is I take it out the night before. This way I don't have to worry about it in the morning. A lot of times people needing money, which a lot of people need now and want to recycle, they go through my recycling and they take what's needed. And this gives them some time to actually do that. Because, I would like to support them any way that people need to make money during any time. Or if anybody's having a tough time, it's best to let them have that time. But at the same time, I don't really want to deal with it in the morning. Because, what if you forget? So, I have my brain wired for, I need to take the recycling. I mean, every Sunday it just kicks in. So, carts must be placed a minimum of 2 feet from cars, mailboxes, and other objects, and 1 foot away from other carts. Also make sure carts are out from under trees or any overhead obstructions. Yeah, so, really it comes to the lever when they grab it. If it hits a tree, the garbage might go everywhere, the waste might go everywhere. So that's kind of why we got to trim our trees, trim our plants, or anything like that we have around there. And also keep them separated by 1 foot, because that's the window that the claw can come in and grab it and, dump it. If they're all lined right next to each other, there's a chance that they might grab too many, and again, the waste will go everywhere. And I'm not sure. I doubt that they're going to get out of the van, but then it will be your responsibility to clean up all that waste. Let's see. Only Waste Management provided carts will be serviced. Each cart type is serviced by a different truck on the same collection day. So again, those metal garbage cans that I used to have as a kid, if I took that out there on next Monday or Sunday night, they wouldn't pick it up. I would have to fit that all into my garbage, which is why I don't have them. Overage and contamination guidelines. So if one or more of your carts are identified as overloaded, or trash is mixed with recycling or green waste resulting in contamination, you receive a service of non-collection, and collection will not be made. So what they're saying there is, if you're putting the wrong thing in the wrong bin, then, and say you live in an apartment complex or even at home, they'll say, we're not picking that up. And this is why. There was trash in there, and it's recycling. I mean, I don't think they're going to go through your garbage and say, oh, there was recycling in there. They'd still pick that up. But in the green waste, one thing I do know, and this is for you gardeners out there, if you put dirt in there, like a good amount of dirt, they won't take it. I don't know why exactly. I guess because dirt can be repurposed, and but they won't take it if you put dirt in there. So when I'm weeding and everything like that, I try to get everything by the root, but so there can be some dirt. There's no way they can manage that. But there can't be just dumping of dirt in there. There are places you can take that, which we'll get into later. But again, if it's overloaded, they're gonna send you a notice and say we can't take this. So it's important to note the difference between trash, green waste, and recycling. But also, sorry, I got caught because the thing is that sometimes it's not really your fault. And so it's important to know your waste management number. I had an incident where they did contact us, and they said, "Oh, we noticed this in there," and I'm like, I can't help it. If I put my bins out, and I go back inside, and somebody comes along and puts trash in my recycling, am I just supposed to sit there all day, or all night and wait? And they said no, and I was like, okay, so this is a one-time thing, and then they'll resume everything. They were very understanding, but so you gotta know that people are understanding, but we can't control what the rest of our environment is going to do. I mean, some people don't know the difference, hence this class. Let's see. Residents will be required to either remove all trash out of the recycling and green waste carts, and or remove the overfilled material and place the carts out for collection on the following week. So basically, if it's too full, can't fit in there, lid won't go down all the way, they're not going to take it. So you got to bag some of it up and wait for the next week. So exchanges, if your cart sizes do not meet for your household service needs and a change is necessary, you may call for a one-time exchange of any type or cart size at no charge. Any additional exchanges will result in a $10 delivery charge. So again, call Waste Management at 760-929-9400, but that's for Carlsbad. But it's Carlsbad, California, but this pretty much applies to to most counties, to schedule a cart exchange. So for our next class, I will definitely find out what our waste management number is. I think most of us live in, Contra Costa County or Albany, so all depending. Anyway, that's the first part of the class, and like I said, I'll get you out that number. But I do hope that you really look into how much you're actually using, and you can do it by using bags and putting your trash in bags, and then just counting how many times and how full the bag actually is. Because a lot of times when you pull it out, I'm like, man, there's like a ton of room in here. And I'll go around and I'll take all the other trash bins I have around the house, like in the bathroom, in the living room, and I'll just dump it into the main bag that's in the kitchen. That's for me. That's the way we keep it. And then then I'm using one bag, and I pretty much, like I said, I think we use about one bag a week. But again, depending on your family size. But you could save some money, and I'm always looking to save money. But anyway, we will get to part 2 at another time. But I miss you all, and I hope everybody's safe and happy. And I will talk to you soon, I hope. All right. Bye.